Hey guys, this is going to be a little more informal. So basically, when they made the announcement for the Combatant perk, I looked at that and just being like, okay, that's definitely something I want as soon as humanly possible, especially just in terms of unlocking overhead prayers. I see a lot of people develop strategies around questing to go ahead and get that unlock. I have a very large concern whether that's actually going to be possible, depending on auto completions. We don't know if they're going to be locked behind tasks. My current guess is probably not, just because of the way that it's been handled in past leagues in situations like this. However, it could be something like Deadman mode, where it's handled through milestones. Once you reach a certain combat level, you go to more worlds, and then boom, you're there. But then there's a question of what milestone that would be, given that it's not like leagues. There's not really like a reward for completing a certain number of tiles, or at least not that's currently been announced. So I decided to sort of come up with this route, which would allow you to go ahead and get an Ogre's kill very early on, hopefully beating the competition, except the people who just bum rush it when they don't even have the gear necessary to secure the kill. And so this should go ahead and allow you to arrive there at the 10-minute mark, and you'll definitely have the runes to secure the kill. I made sure of that in the DPS calculator, and I'll show that as it becomes relevant. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do post-commentary over this little run I did, explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and potential changes that could theoretically be made, and all that good stuff. So starting off here, it's very normal stuff. Stronghold of security for the 10k. Obviously I'm doing this on a main, so I'm just using the Skull Scepter to imitate that free teleport from Count. Now with that said, obviously this is only really going to be viable the day of release, so that way, you're not piled by all the mobs. I think people really underestimate how easy it is to die at the Stronghold of security if you're not going in a large group. So yeah, this will have to be pretty early, otherwise I'd probably recommend maybe seeing if you can snag completion of Witch's House first. But at that point, it might not actually be that competitive at the Ogresses, so it might be fine either way. I'm just going to go ahead and speed up through Stronghold of Security. I'm sure you don't need to see this. Everyone who's played temporary game mode knows that this is a great method for 10 starting K, so I don't need to shove your faces in it. Alright, so from there, you're going to go ahead and run over to the staff shop in Varrock. You're going to go ahead and buy an Earth Staff, as the Ogresses have an elemental weakness to Earth. Not a major one, but when we're looking at longer kills, every little bit helps. Then you're going to do your Lumbee home teleport. I actually had a run that I screwed up before this, so I restarted, so I'm just waiting 10 seconds before using my break from Lumbridge teleport. From here, you're going to go ahead and run west over to Draenor Village. Now, I am trading Django here just for the Chronicle teleport. It's a really good teleport to have early game, and it doesn't really take any time out of this route, so it just makes sense to do. If you'd like to do Witch's House, you can also pick up the cheese up there. I just didn't bother with this one, but thinking about it now, it might not be a bad play, just so you have it on hand. I will say, as I was doing this, I was like, wait, does the Chronicle actually have any positive magic attack stats? But I looked it up, it doesn't. So here you're going to go to Port Sarim, that little spot where I walked back and forth. That's where the Corsair Curse guy is going to be. You got to talk to him to be able to head to the Corsair Cove. You're going to go ahead and buy an Eye of Newt, a blue wizard hat, and then your runes from the rune shop. It's just going to be mind and air that you're going to need, and you should have plenty of money for both of them, even after buying like Chronicle staff and all that. Now I am going to go ahead and go down over to the food shop so I can pick up a piece of meat, as we're going to be completing the Witch's Potion, and it's quicker to just sort of walk here and buy it than, find something to kill along the path, or at least I believe so. So you're going to arrive there just short of 13 magic, which should give you enough DPS to go ahead and kill it in a somewhat reasonable time frame. It's still going to be a long kill, but yeah. So here, I'm just grabbing the onion, and at this point, the only thing missing is going to be the rat's tail, and that you just go ahead and get from killing the rat during the quest. So yeah, I'm just going to walk down, drop everything, because obviously I can't do it. Oh, and that, also the reason I started with 10k, just because, obviously I already redeemed the money on my main. Yeah, from there, everyone's basically done. You just Gonna go ahead and run over to the docks. You're gonna go ahead and head to the Corsair Cove, then you head into the dungeon, and you're gonna go ahead and kill it. Now, it's not going to take that long on my main. However, I'll go ahead and put up the DPS calculator to show how long you should really expect to be there. It's not an unreasonable amount of time in the grand scheme of things, but it is going to be a situation where, you're just sitting there and it's like, all right, well, grab your popcorn for a bit. As you can see, none of this is like tick perfect or anything, and there are definitely minor modifications you can make if there's something you want to pick up or do along the way. I'm kind of wondering whether or not they'll have trainer laps as a task. I'm not sure if it's too small to sort of have in the context of Gridmaster, given how few tasks there are, but you never know. So yeah, I hope you found this guide useful. If you have any additions or thoughts that you might want to go ahead and add, feel free to leave them in the comments. But this should be a pretty solid route to go ahead and get to the ogresses, hopefully before anyone else. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.